Okay, so now we've run this. This is coming from the cold water out on the heater, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach this right here, just like so. This is our in on our cold water on our 3-compartment sink. Go ahead and tighten it down. Alright, so the next thing that we do here after we've tightened that down, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our other piece of hose here that connects just like this. We're going to tighten that one down. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to connect this to the cold water inlet on our hand washing sink. All right, you got it connected. Now you just tighten down the hose clamp. Now that you've tightened down the hose clamp, go ahead and press the remaining piece of the clamp out of the way there so it doesn't get hung up on anything. Same with this side. And go through and do the same thing. Go through and make sure all your clamps are out of the way and pushed out of the way and bent. You don't want them getting stuck on your tent or wherever you're putting this thing. So, all right, so that's pretty much it. You've installed your hot and cold water. You installed it to your 3-compartment sink, your hand washing sink, and you're all ready to go. Okay, it's now time for the next step in the build, and that's where we're going to take our 5-gallon bucket. This is going to be our freshwater bucket. And I'm going to show you how to make this little device here that goes into the 5-gallon bucket so that you can get water, fresh water to your pump, okay, your water pump. Now I got to give credit for this. I went to concessionsinks.com when I was looking to make a sink, and I bought their sink building guide, and this is how I learned how to make this and where to get the parts and stuff. So this wasn't my doing. In fact, a lot of the information that you've learned today I got from my sink building guide at concessionsinks.com. And if you're considering building a sink, it was well worth the money I paid for it. The information alone was, as far as where to buy stuff, was worth the money. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our hose. We've got our 42-inch hose that we've cut. We've got this part that goes to your jet or your pump. Remember the other one was elbow shaped, right? This one just straight on, okay? We got a couple of hose clamps here that we're going to use. We got this little 1/2-inch fitting that we're going to be screwing on to the top of that. And we got these parts that are listed here from Lowe's. And of course the extra cap here for our 5-gallon bottle of water, okay? So the tools I'm going to be using is this 5/16 for tightening down the hose clamp. Of course I'm going to want to measure my hose. And I also got some PVC cement for gluing these pieces together, and a knife for cutting this little plastic deal. All right, I'm going to show you how to do it, and should be pretty simple and fast. Okay, now the first step is we're going to cut this hose, and we're going to cut it at 41 inches long. Okay, after you do that, you're going to take this little fitting that you put on, this little 1/2-inch fitting here. You're going to attach it to the bottom, just like so. Then you're going to put your hose clamps on. Go ahead and put both of them on. There we go, we got our hose clamps on. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach this little fitting that goes to the pump, okay? As you can see here, this is just a straight plug. It goes right in, easy. I do got to warn you, once you put it in this hose, if you want to get it out again, you're going to have to cut and split that hose because these little ribs here make it pretty hard to get out. So you're going to make sure you got your hose clamps on before you go putting this on, okay? So now you're going to push this in. There we go. All right, there we go. We've got it pressed down flush, and we're all ready to tighten down our hose clamps. Go ahead and tighten down your hose clamps on both ends here. right, there you have it. You've got both of these ends put together here. It's on your hose. Now we're going to go on to our next step, and that's build this little deal. Okay, now the first thing you're going to need to do is, you got your 5-gallon jug, and we recommended that you buy 3 of these caps, or 2 extra caps along with the one that came with the jug. And the reason is, you're going to need to trim some of these threads back, probably like a, I don't know, maybe like 1/8 of an inch or 2 or 3 threads. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to put the male end of this fitting through here, and it doesn't go far enough. So you're going to need to get out a sharp knife and cut some of these threads back. Okay, and let me show you how to do that. Okay, so screw it in there and see if you got enough for this 3/4 inch adapter here to screw down to it. Alright, there you have it. We only took off like a couple of threads here, just a little bit, and it worked out just fine. Okay, so go ahead and screw these together. We're almost done. Next part is, you're going to take this, looks like this little 1/2 inch piece of pipe here, right? That's on your list. You're going to buy it at Home Depot. You can get like a couple feet for a couple bucks. The funny thing is, we only need an 1.5 inches, so cut that down to 1.5 inches. And then after you cut that, go ahead and cut this 3/4 inch piece of pipe here. Cut that down to 1 foot. Okay? What you're going to end up doing is you're going to take your PVC glue. You never use PVC glue, it's just pretty simple stuff. Now that you've got this piece all glued up, you push it in to this part of the fitting right here. Okay, there you have it. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to take this little piece of pipe and you're going to put the fitting together. And you're going to take your PVC glue, put some on this end. Okay. Once you got the glue on there, stick it in just like this. There we go. Push it down good and tight. There you go. And then of course you're going to do the same to the other end right here. Take this little adapter. There you go. That's how we do it. Pretty much done. Then you're going to put this in the top of your 5-gallon bottle and you'll be ready to go. Okay, so now we got this built and we put our hose together. All we do now is we put our hose on top of this piece right here. Okay, so I tightened it down good and tight. As you can see, I didn't put any plumber's tape on here. If I find that it leaks, it will, but I found it when I got plastic on plastic, it usually holds pretty good. So anyway, this is all done. We're ready to attach it to our 5-gallon container and turn our sink on and check to see if we have any leaks. And that's going to be the next step. We're pretty much finished. Well, we have this all put together. We're ready to install it to our 5-gallon water jug here. This is why we recommend you get a couple of the caps. When I transport my 5-gallon water, I like to have this cap on it so I don't have to have my adapter on it. Anyway, go ahead, take your adapter here, screw it on nice and tight, slip it underneath your sink and attach it to your pump. And to attach it to the pump, all you need to do is place it inside that hole on the inlet. Clip down till you hear it click. Get out your battery. connect the positive to the positive cable. That's the red one. The black to the ground. Come over, hook up your propane tank. Hooks up like your typical barbecue. Just put it on, tighten it down, open up the propane valve. Then reach underneath your heater, turn the switch to the on position. And we're ready to go here. Turn your pump on. Connect your gray water. We're ready to go. Okay, well, we attached everything. We got our propane tank hooked up. We got our switch turned on. We attached our battery cables here. We've got our fresh water all hooked up, and we've got our gray water. Now let's turn this thing on and see if we got any leaks. Alrighty, and you do that by coming over, turning on the switch, turning on the water. Start with the cold, hot. Come over to the hand washing sink. All right, so that's what it sounds like. Now, since you no longer hear the jet running, it means that your fresh water tank, your line is nice and solid. If there's air in the lines or you turn the sink on, you'll hear that pump, okay? And right now we have the switch turned on and the pump's not running, which means that everything's airtight. That's the cool thing about the on-off switch too. If for some reason you got air in the lines or your jet wants to run, you just got to turn the off switch on, which is the same as disconnecting the battery. So what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to walk around, check all the drains, check all the plumbing, see if there's any leaks. And if there's any leaks, you're going to want to tighten them down. Usually I find, I put this together a couple of times, and I find that it leaks from here in the back. So it's just a matter of getting out your pipe wrench and your crescent wrench, tightening stuff down, putting on some more plumber's tape, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I got a little helpful tip for you. Sometimes when you have your pump in the on position and you're not running water, you'll hear it stay on. And that's because it's still constantly trying to drag water to the pump. And I find that when you have the 5-gallon container on this side instead of directly under with a short line, that it wants to constantly pump sometimes. And the simple way to fix that is, instead of having the 5-gallon container standing upright, lay it on its side. Just like that. So that way, the water is running out the bottom down there, and it has a constant, easy flow. Simple solution if you have that problem. If you don't have that problem, just keep the 5-gallon container in the upright position. Okay, hope that helped.